Okay, let's go.
All right, cool. I like your background. Where are you actually?
I'm in Paris right now.
You're in
It's
Paris?
free. Yeah, it's. I'm freezing right now. I was in Bali like a few weeks ago, and now I'm freezing in Paris.
How cold? What's the temperature?
It's -1.
Oh, yeah, that's cold. That's really cold. But is that your office?
It's my new office, like the company, L'Empire, the company who acquired us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's their office.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yep.
It's in Paris, right?
It seems very what?
Yeah. That was so they are based in Paris,
Yes,
Empire.
they are,
Okay.
but like fully remote. People are everywhere in France.
Cool. What do they do?
They have a software called Lemlist,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
it's cold emailing SaaS.
Okay. So last time we talked, it was September 8th, 2021. Do you do you remember what was
Yep.
the MRR of Tweet Hunter back then?
It depends because like in September we went from like 5K to 20K just in September 2021. So it
So
was it was like the tweet launch of Tweet Hunter.
I was listening to the interview, re-listening, and I remember you saying that you had a partnership prepared with a famous Twitter account, but you didn't mention. So it was before your partnership with how do you say JK Molina? How do you say
Yes,
it?
GK Marina.
JK Molina. So I guess your MRR was around 5K or something.
Probably, and just this launch made us go to 20. It's a bit
Yeah,
crazy. He did a
it's
very nice job here.
yeah, and it's crazy because I was checking in on him, and he's like super young, right? He's actually I don't know also how old are you, but he's like 22 or
Yeah,
something.
I think so, like 21 or 22, and I'm like 10 years older. So I feel super old when I talk to him.
No, but when you see him talking and when you see his Twitter and the pictures and everything, I don't know. I had this impression that he was much older, actually.
Yeah, me too.
And then he was like, yeah.
They actually signed the contract and the collaboration, and I learned that he was like 21 a few weeks after, and I was so shocked. But he still did a very great job, so no regrets on that.
This just proves that age does not necessarily mean expertise, right?
Exactly.
And I was just checking on his story, and he started selling perfumes that he was making, and then he was like he had a bunch of like hustles and until he started building on Twitter. He was actually doing VA, right? So virtual assistant.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So tell me about that. Tell me about we finished our talk. First of all, I was re-listening, as I said, and there was a lot of really good gems. Like there was a lot of things that I learned from you in that initial talk that we had. A lot of things that back then I didn't know. You introduced the audience first approach to me, which is something that now it's obvious, but back then I didn't even know what there was. And then you also introduced this concept of trying to do a lot of products and only really go to distance in the products that show like tick all the boxes, right? There's one cool thing that you said that if your product is not making money, like if the conversion, like you said that the conversion rate, people have like a wrong impression of how the conversion rate improves, and actually it goes down. So your first users should be those early adopters, the ones that really really love your product, and then eventually it starts going down. So if it's not good at first, it will get worse. All of those ideas, do you still stand by them?
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy because when I mentioned this idea of shipping multiple projects
Mm-hmm.
and just choosing the one that tick all the boxes and moving forward, we actually applied that later on with our own marketing at Twitter by just shipping a lot of side projects And during this like 18 months, shipping all those free side projects actually made a huge impact on the Twitter growth. Like by many things, by just publishing more content on Twitter, some of them took off and bring a lot of people in as subscribers in the tool, and moreover, like the SEO of those tools
Right.
took a lot of time to build, but when it's here, it's awesome because it's like a constant source of new sign up
Hmm.
for your SaaS. That just you're so happy. I'm so happy right now that I published those projects like 1 year ago.
Yeah. So that was your marketing strategy, right? So you
Yep.
started building these other. Can you give some examples of tools that you built?
Yeah.
The
So
ones
we
that you like the
we
most.
there is something like the best time to tweet. So we analyze your account, your Twitter accounts, and
Right.
your followers. So we can tell you the perfect time. It's very small. It's free. There is the growth challenge. During 3 months, we have this platform that will track your Twitter growth, and
Right.
in a leaderboard will show how you are doing compared to the other. The goal is to
Hmm.
motivate you to build this Twitter audience. There is also we did a bunch of them for Tapio too, like post
Right.
generators, tweet generators, things like that.
And Taplio is it's kind of Tweet Hunter for LinkedIn, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like I think in March, in last March, like March 2022, we started this new project Tapio. The idea is that you cannot be the best tool if you are doing a tool for Twitter and LinkedIn at the same time. And we really wanted to have the best tool for Twitter and the best tool for LinkedIn. So
Mm.
it had to be two different products. So each product could perfectly fit in the constraints of the social media.
Okay.
And if you look at the current competitive environments, like all the big tools, Buffer or
Feed
HotSuite
Hive.
or even FeedHive or Hypefury, they are doing multiple social media. And,
Yeah.
and if you need that, it's perfect for you. But if you care about LinkedIn and only LinkedIn, you want the best tool just for LinkedIn. And same for Twitter.
Yeah.
That's our positioning.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, let's go back to those days. You Tweet Hunter was already kind of checking all the boxes, right? Like it was already growing quite well, and you just shared like the growth, and it's quite incredible. It was almost like 1K, 2K, 3K, and then 5K, and then 20K. But I want to know more about this partnership you did. So until your partnership to with JK Molina, it was you and your you had a co-founder with you, right? Tom, right?
Toma, yes. Yeah.
Toma. And you. So tell me about this reasoning. You thought, okay, this is not enough. Like we need someone to help us do this boost because you're already growing so well. Why did you decide to do this partnership?
Um, I think because it appeared like a shortcut for better growth, and the alignment was perfect. Like this guy, Chicken Molina, he has a course, a Twitter course, and in
Mm-hmm.
this course, he was teaching the exact method that we were promoting with Twitter. The idea is like as a writer, you need to build a swipe file, which is
Right.
basically a file or a content that's actually like the best content, the best content that you should want to create. And
Mm-hmm.
just by looking at this great content, you will write great content. It's like if you are writing tweets, just look at awesome tweets, a wall of them, and you will then write better tweets.
Right.
And
Okay.
he was teaching this method, and that was exactly what Twitter was about. So The conversation was very easy. We had the same goal, and we were ready to give away shares of the products to build something big. Like we really wanted
Hmm.
to build something big, and the idea at the time was to get acquired in less than a year. We definitely didn't reach that,
Oh yeah,
but
it
but
was
still,
1 year and a half.
yeah, it made sense to work with a very big Twitter influencer to reach that goal.
So was this something that you were seeking, like before even like meeting Jake Molina? Were
Yeah.
you already thinking about this? Okay, we need to do some kind of partnership. That's the best way for us to grow fast. Like, is
So
this something that
the
was
goal,
already in
like
your mind?
before working with GK Molina, the goal was to build a SaaS in 1 year to 10K MRR and to try to sell it for like 1 million and start over. And it didn't go as planned at all. Like we stayed longer. We sold it for like 10 times this amount. And now we are going to work 2 years with the buyer. So it definitely didn't follow the plan.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was the plan to get acquired from the very beginning.
Why? Why did you? That's not like a
Because
mentality that a lot of indie makers have, right? It's more like lifestyle business. Why did you have this idea?
it's so fun at the beginning, like the
Right.
early stages, the building is so fun. That's
Hmm.
what we just wanted to do forever. And it's true that when you start to hire people and manage people, your job is actually shifting, and maybe you like that, and it's okay. It's okay if you like
Yeah.
handling big team, building like processes, things like that. It's okay. We are more like enjoying the early stages,
Right.
and I really want to like code myself, build
Hmm.
something by with my hands.
How big was your team in September 2021?
Two, like just
It was
Thomas and
only you
I.
two,
Yeah.
right? So because that's something that I've talked with a lot of makers, and most of them they decide to stay like solopreneurs or two people. It's rare. It's really rare. Sometimes I've met people that are already making really good ARR, and they are still themselves thinking on hiring maybe one freelancer to help them with some features or something. Is this in your opinion? What do you think of this? Is this like
But
the
that's
correct approach?
yeah, that's exactly the thing that I did for my first startup. Like you, the thing is during school and then university, um, every teacher you see will tell you only one thing. It's basically after university you will be a project manager, and your job as a consultant will be to like hire people and manage things and just make sure that everything is going as planned. So like you are you acknowledge that your goal is to be a manager, to not
Right.
actually build something yourself. And so that's what I did when I just created my first startup. I basically hired a lot of interns with very low pay, and every 6 months they went away and new ones were coming. So I was constantly spending all my days teaching to them, managing them, building specification for them to build. And when I look at things now, it was so slow. Like 10 of them, I think, were much slower than just Toma and I a year ago.
Okay.
It's
S-
crazy because at the very early stages of the company, it's constant chaos.
yeah.
So a team of interns will 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 do not understand why you need to shift direction quite often based on user feedback. So
Right.
you will need to spend a lot of energy teaching to them, explaining them why that's the case, and that's not
Hmm.
something you want to do in the early stages.
So when should you start considering hiring someone? And I'm not saying even full time. Can it be like part time freelancer? When is the right time to do that?
I really think the later the better.
Okay.
Except if it's like a key skill that you need, which it's quite strategic to your business, like design, or I don't know, like
Okay.
finance stuff, or I don't know. But we
But
like later on, I think when we reached like 40K MR or 30, we hired our first developer.
okay. So up until
But
then, you never hired anyone like freelance or something.
no,
Design, everything, it was you.
design was Thomas.
Okay.
The building was me.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the DM you sent to Jake Molina
I
on
think it was
Twitter?
something pretty basic, like, "Hey, I'm building this thing. Do you want to try it? I'm looking for feedback," something like that.
Okay. So you didn't reach out with the possibility of a partnership.
No, he did. Like, he answered that he loved the tool and he wanted equity.
For
He
what?
wanted to be in for like promoting it, and
Okay.
he kind of became like the CMO of the tool,
Mhm.
promoting it, planning on the marketing campaigns, things like
Right.
that. So he was not only the influencer, he was actually working on that.
How big was his account on Twitter?
I think it was like 40K followers at the time, with a very high engagement compared
Okay.
to other people with the same number of followers.
Uh-huh.
And but we sort of like we bet on him. We knew he was growing quite fast and he was good at selling. Like, he was not
Right.
only good at getting followers, he was good at making money from what he was building. Like, he was good at converting people from like a free stages to like a paid subscription or thing.
Mhm. Right. So do you recall the conversation between you and Toma when you first got this option, this partnership option?
Um, I don't know the exact things, but it was super hard to set up a contract that would protect us in case of anything that would go bad. So we talked a lot with Toma about the numbers, the percentages. Yeah, it was super hard because there was basically no benchmark. Like,
Right.
it was super atypical to find this kind of partnership between influencer and startup founders. So we just had to build it by ourselves.
Mhm.
And when I look at the contract right now, it's so bad. Like, it's really bad. So
Why?
we were quite lucky that things went well, but there was so many things that could have gone wrong.
Like what? What
Like
was wrong about the contract?
basically, if GK Molina and us didn't get along on the long term, it was not very specific about what each of us could do to break or remain in the contracts, basically.
Right.
So we built it by ourselves without a lawyer, and I know
Wow.
that's it's not the best thing, but at the time we didn't have any money, so we like to do this kind of thing.
Right. So how, because like one thing is to have a co-founder that you've known for a long time, right? That's one thing. The other thing, as you said, is like, okay, you just met this person, you super young person, right? Um, do you? I know that he first asked for 30. Was it 30%? He asked for a little bit more, and you kind of negotiated this down.
Yep, something like that.
Uh, was it like how do you manage that, right? Because at some time it's a partnership for that you want to get along, but at the same time you want to protect your business. You don't want to give too much. Were you and Toma always aligned on this? Do you remember like having these conversations and uh, like defining all of this process?
I remember that Toma wanted to give more
Okay.
percentage to GK Marina because like I'm more ambitious and I always want like bigger piece of the pie.
Hmm.
But so we did find an agreement and things went well.
What was the agreement?
We I think we defined 25% for GK
Okay.
Molina, 25 of the product. So it's not really equity. It's like GK Molina had rights on the profits or the exits of Tweet Hunter, which is
Okay.
one of the product of Pony Express, the company behind it.
Hmm. So, what if you wouldn't sell? Like, would he also get some dividends or something while it's going?
He would get like 25% of the profits that Tweet Hunter is making every month. So
Wow.
during like before we sold, the tool was highly profitable. So every month we were hiring him some money, like
Wow.
five, 2K, 5K, 10K, etc.
It's crazy. That's a lot of percentage to give. I'm with you here. 25% to someone that you barely know just because he has 40K and a good attitude, because like 40K it's really good, but I mean you have now 50K, right? So uh there's a lot of people that have even much more than that, right? So
The thing is, it's not only based on followers. GK Molina, he has like this ability to go viral quite
yeah.
often, and every time he did, it was like 100 of subscribers for Tweet Hunter. So it's
Wow.
like he was bringing value, a lot of value.
Did he show that before signing the contract? Was he already kind of promoting, and could you somehow anticipate his impact in the
So
business?
we made the contract in a way that um, his percentage of Twitter would go up with how many people he would bring to Tweet Hunter. So it was
Okay.
not 25% straight away. It started at zero. He ramped it to 10%, then 20, then 25. So
Got it.
it
Yeah,
was
makes
well
sense.
done in this perspective.
Yeah, yeah. When you signed that contract, do you remember that the feeling of okay, it's done? We
Yeah,
have given 25%. Were you anxious? Like, do you remember that part?
not anxious, more like demanding. Like we
Oh,
signed it, so now you have to deliver.
okay. How is a demanding Tibo? Like, are you like micromanaging too much? Do you know that?
No, I'm not really micromanaging. I think I was like 10 years ago. Now I'm more like direct and straight to the point. And like
Okay,
I will ask like hard questions. But so like, how many people did you bring this week, or what did you do yesterday to help the growth or things like that?
right. Wow. Okay. Do you remember the first Twitter launch? Like, what was the? Tell me about that process. What did you do?
So GK Morin, he did a nice job at planning a launch that would not only last one day. During like a week before, he was building this FOMO about the launch. Like he was about to publish a new Twitter tool that would like change the game, change the Twitter
Right.
game. Um, People on the mailing list could just access the launch before with the discounts. Then during the launch, a lot of he managed to get a lot of people to talk about the tool on the D Day.
Okay.
And then we had like this price increase at the end of like a few days after the launch. We were planning for the price increase, so it was like the ultimate chance to get Twitter
To
to for
get.
low price
Yeah.
before the price increase, and all of that together combined it had been a great success.
What was the impact in terms of MRR?
Like from 5 to 18, I think, k
Whoa. In
in
like a
about,
couple of weeks.
yeah, in 3 weeks, 2 weeks. But what was crazier is that like what we anticipated is like after the launch we anticipated some churn and like slow down in the growth.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened here, which was really I think more because of the product, is that word of mouth started to kick in, and
Okay.
after the launch we started having like 20% growth every month, month after month. So we went like from 20 to 25
Crazy.
to 35 to 50 quite quickly. And the
Ah, so it was
slowdown,
compounding.
yes, exactly, and the slowdown that we anticipated never happened.
Yeah.
It's it.
I
And
remember.
25% growth month over month can get quite big quite quickly.
Yes, yes, definitely. I can imagine. I remember when I asked you back then, what was your biggest fear? You said that your biggest fear, what was keeping you up at night, was the possibility of everything ending. That like you couldn't keep up with this growth.
And
Uh,
this got much worse
yeah.
when Elon Musk started to get in the business.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, doing so. It's still the case right now. But we are maybe a little bit less worried. But there was this entire drama with Elon Musk buying Twitter
Mm-hmm.
and him changing the rules quite often. And from the very beginning of this story we have been super worried about just him killing our business.
Right.
It's super scary, like that it can happen every day.
He did that already, right? With a bunch of apps.
Exactly, yeah.
How do you protect yourself from that?
So we did by starting Tapio for LinkedIn. It
Yeah.
was it's a diversification. We replicated the same influencer strategy. We worked with Alex Berman for a much shorter time because of the acquisition. Like
Mm-hmm.
we started working with him on March 2022, and it ended with the acquisition.
Okay.
But
Interesting
yeah.
that you like replicate basically the same recipe.
Yep.
I mean, that's really smart. That's really really smart. You have something that works really well on Twitter, and then you basically do the same for another platform. Like, did you have to change something? Are there things that like worked really well on Twitter but didn't work on LinkedIn?
Uh, yeah, a bunch of things like LinkedIn. The technical of LinkedIn is much harder. Their API is a nightmare to work with.
Okay.
So on the product side, a lot of change, a lot of things had to change. On the marketing side, it's hard to tell. Like something that we didn't anticipate is that we thought that on LinkedIn it would grow much faster than Twitter,
Okay.
and it was really not the case. And I think that's something that we underestimate is the impact of this posted with Tweet Hunter below every tweet that
Right.
used to be present and it's not anymore. And on LinkedIn, you don't have this. So when something is posted on LinkedIn, you don't know the tool that has been used to publish it.
Right. I didn't know. Can you see that on Twitter?
Not
What was used
anymore.
to post?
It was the case, but not anymore.
Ah. So actually, that leads me to another question, which is the viral loop, which is something that I've learned to be a very important part of a business, especially if you want to grow really, really fast. Something that, for example, a lot of Twitter tools have, right? Like Black Magic, for instance, and the Snapper tool that he also made and everything. What was that? Your marketing loop, the little sentence saying "made by Tweet Hunter."
I think so. Yes, I think so. And also, a happy user of Twitter is a user that is growing on Twitter. So he's actually
Right.
having an audience. So if he's successful, he will talk about us.
But why? Like, do you do something for for them to talk about you?
Not really. No, they
S-
just do because they just do.
Right. They'll be like, "Yeah, this is incredible. I've doubled my audience in a week or something."
Something that we did, which I think kind of helped, is having a very good customer support. So until very late in the history of Tweet Hunter, the support button in Tweet Hunter was redirecting to my DMs on Twitter.
Okay. Right.
And I was trying to be very fast at answering DMs, and when someone was suggesting something and it was quickly doable, I was trying to just do it very fast, shipping the updates, and tell the guy, hey, yeah, your idea is actually a very good one. I just added this in Tweet Hunter, and
Okay.
people were very happy about that and was tweeting about how we were listening to users, which is
Mhm.
true. And maybe I don't know the exact the truth about it, but maybe it helped with the growth.
Definitely. Definitely did. A happy user is a user that will be talking about you and saying great things. Did you notice a difference once Twitter removed the little caption saying published by Tweet Hunter?
It's very hard to say because they did it a little bit before Christmas.
Okay.
So yes, there was a slowdown in the growth, but it's hard to say if it's because of Christmas or because of that.
Mm.
And the thing is, like from the very beginning of January, the growth started to like skyrocket.
Okay.
So I don't know about it. And and
You.
and and the growth is strong right now, but there are so many things that could be the source of that. It's like beginning of the year, so everyone wants to start new things for the new year.
Yeah.
We started this growth challenge on Twitter, and it's working quite well. And there was the acquisition announcements, which again fueled the growth.
I think the
So I
acquisition would
don't.
definitely bring a lot of eyeballs to Tweet Hunter because suddenly an indie maker is selling for millions, right? So a lot of people will definitely look at it. Um, so when you did your first launch with Twitter with JK Molina, were your doubts immediately dissipated when you saw, okay, yeah, this was a good bet?
Yeah, yeah, very fast. Yes, I think a
Okay.
few weeks after, we were very happy about the results. It was now a question of, okay, um, the launch went great, but we didn't give you 25% just for this launch. We gave you 25% for for growing the tool to like to for forever. So I was
Right.
very afraid that GK felt he did the job and would stop doing any other thing.
Right. And did he?
But but yeah, it went well. So of course his involvement went a little bit down, but he was still promoting the tool by email and by and on Twitter, and he was making a good job at it. One
Hmm.
of his key missions was to hire a lot of affiliates for Twitter, and he did. Like he did a good job.
Yeah. So did you kind of move all the marketing efforts to JK and you would focus more in the user support and building new features?
It was a shared role between GK Molina and Thomas.
Right.
Thomas is more like the brand owner.
Okay.
He's a very good, like, he helped me with all the design. He did all the design. I was like just implementing it.
Right.
He has a very good vision also for the products.
What is your
So
relationship with how good is your relationship with Toma, like business
it's
wise?
it's very
To
good because like we know each other for a while. We founded our first startup together, and we
Okay.
failed together.
Uh-huh.
So like we know how each of us will react when things go bad, and we know we know that we are good at some things and we're not at some other things, and we really know how to talk to each other and to like be honest about things,
Okay.
which I think is super important with the co-founder, but
Yeah.
most of the time it's not the case.
What are the things that you disagreed the most with Hunter?
um like with Thomas,
Yeah.
it's very hard to tell. I don't know, like we there is no one big disagreement.
Okay.
We agree on most things. The thing is, our relationships is based on both of us having a lot of ideas, and the other one being able to say freely that this one is a shitty idea, we should not do that,
Right.
or this one is a very good one, let's do it.
So you don't get upset if some each one of you says that to the other.
We can be upset, but we both go over it.
Okay. I remember. So I also now working with a co-founder, also a designer, and one of our biggest disagreements is that he always wants to like have the perfect design and then change this color again and again to and adjust all the margins. And I'm quite the opposite. I'm like, I don't care about this. Like I just want to chip it and get people and focus on other features. Is it the same for you?
So we are, I think we are both like you.
Oh,
We're
okay.
both we're both ready to move very fast and to
Yeah.
focus on what's very important.
Hmm. Okay, that's
We know,
great.
yeah, yeah. I think on this specific point, it's very important to be aligned.
Yeah.
We both know also that on some very specific things we need to have very high standards. Like
Yeah.
something about Tweet Hunter is that at the very beginning, the tweet scheduling feature was quite buggy, and you can be
Okay.
very upset when you have scheduled tweets and it's not coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something where I had to be very careful is the like all the scheduling, all those very important features that needs to
Right.
work
Core
super well.
functionalities.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So walk me through the growth since so you got JK Molina, you did the launch. It was focused more now in email marketing and all of that. Um, how did Tweet Hunter grow from then on?
So September 2021, we reached 20K
Hmm.
with the launch. Then I think November 2021, we did the Product Hunt launch with a bunch of new features.
Right.
I don't know the exact numbers, but I know that in January we started the year at 35 k, thanks to the Product Hands launch and the few other things that we did during the winter, like January, February, March. We had the growth challenge, Twitter growth
Right.
challenge. It helped a lot, bring a lot of people, and I think by the end of the winter, we were at like 25k. No, sorry, 60k
60K.
MR.
And from
Yeah.
this, how much is actual like profit? Like, what are your expenses really? Because it's only three of you, right? So,
So at the time, we hired a developer, and yeah, most of the expenses are the AI costs, some server
mhm.
costs, but basically we were like 25% profitable. No, sorry, 50% profitable.
Wow. So
So
50% of this would like go for you.
yeah, basically, actually,
Okay.
just go to the company and stay there because like we didn't know what to do with the money, and
So
and we
how would you
didn't
pay
need that much
yourself?
money. So a piece of that would go to us, and
So
we
like you
started.
would define the salary.
Yeah, we started paying ourselves a salary on January 2022,
Okay.
and we increased this salary every month. At this, as long we just told ourselves that we would just increase the salary as long as Twitter is growing. So it was we had this high motivation of
Yeah.
just making the growth, like to continue to just increase our salary.
does one define a salary? Like your first salary, how do you define that? It's like, okay, the minimum we need to live, or
Yeah, we started
okay,
with that. We started with that, and then we increased it based on the growth of the tool.
right. And how was your lifestyle while like this whole process? Like, were you working hard? Were you traveling? Because I know you're also digital nomad. Like, how was your lifestyle?
So I have been nomad for like 2 years. Been to Thailand for 6 months. Just coming back from Bali, where I have been for the last 6 months. So my main expenses are like flights
Okay,
and accommodation, like
right.
finding a house, renting a house, and but the lifestyle itself didn't really change. Like my wife has the same salary, so we just try to keep it balanced and not go crazy at all. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, I didn't really change anything. I don't know why, but the thing is, I
what
don't really need money.
what about work? Like, do you have to do you take time for you to spend time with your wife to like enjoy life, or like how long do you work? Like, do you think you work too much?
I don't know if I work too much because, like, at when I was in Bali, my work day basically ended at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, so it was not
Okay.
like crazy. I'm definitely working more when I am in Paris. I don't know why, but it's like I feel
Huh.
like the city make you want to work more because there's like
Interesting.
nothing to do outside. But I have been very lucky because I have a daughter too, and I had a lot of time for like
Oh, that's great.
2 years to just enjoy life with her.
Yeah.
Being in Bali or in Thailand was awesome. Like there's so many things to do with kids there.
So it's possible to be a dad and have a business, an indie business.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I'm a strong believer that if you don't do any meetings and if you have like 4 hours per day of deep work, you can achieve a lot on
Okay.
those time. I was trying to work like 6 hours per day of deep work, and I think that's enough to do a lot. But I will not lie. Like I was also working a lot during evenings.
Hmm.
My wife is a hard worker too, so we get along on that.
Yeah.
But I'm happy I
But
had time with my daughter.
right, because the daughter, I guess, doesn't care if you are a hard worker or not, right? Like you, uh,
Yeah,
she will need you.
exactly. She just want to go to the pool.
Yeah. When did the conversation about selling started popping up?
Um, so in like January or February, we had this talk with Toma that we weigh out our goal of reaching 10K MRR was long gone. So it was about we should like start working on selling. And the crazy
Right.
thing is like we hired a guy, a broker, to help us sell the company, and he
Okay.
was a really good guy. He did a good job, but it didn't work. Like
What is this?
all
What is a broker? What is
it's
like?
it's like
How do you pay? How what is his role?
it's like a guy who knows a lot of big companies, and who will introduce you to those big companies in the context of this acquisition.
Okay.
It's super helpful because he will like package all the numbers, build a very nice deck, and he has like good relationships with a lot of very like very interesting people. Um, but all the companies that we started talking to, they were quite old companies,
Okay.
and like companies like HubSpot, very
Right.
big companies, and we had a very different culture. Like it was hard to understand each other. We were still quite small, and all of them, they were asking us to stay 2 years in business, and it was super hard for Toma and I to accept that we would need to move on from our plan of just sell and
Right.
build something new right away, to stay 2 years with a buyer which has a very different culture than us.
Right.
So we kept exploring more option,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this guy, like Guillaume, a guy. I was with him in middle school when we were
Right.
like 12. I had like reached out to him a year before about just like talking about our businesses, because I knew that he created something quite awesome, which was Lemlists, a cold email outreach tool.
Ah, so your friend is the founder of this company.
Yep, exactly.
Got it.
And it was like, I think in a year, it was like the third or fourth time we had lunch together,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him about the acquisition and how it was going, and how all the company we were talking to were not really a good fit. And I think like he didn't think about it before, but for him it was obvious that it was a super interesting deal, because Guillaume built his entire company based on personal brand. Like
Right.
he as a founder built a very strong brand on LinkedIn. He's quite active on Instagram, YouTube too, and he started doing a bit of Twitter. And he knows that a personal brand will make you sell 10 times more. It's it's
Yes.
the it's the new way to sell. And he has so much trust in this that he really wanted to acquire a company. And the conversation was so different compared to every other company we talked to
Yeah.
before, because he has the same culture, same age, same language. We wanted to go in the same direction.
Right.
He was understanding every aspect of our business. We had basically the same clients, so the deal was super easy to build together. And I think in 2 weeks on WhatsApp,
On WhatsApp.
we
That's
yeah,
incredible.
we defined all the details, and it was a match.
Was it some details of that that was harder for you to let go? That you didn't want to let go and you had to?
um, I don't know, Lord. I know, I think we are quite happy about the deal. One thing is that one thing that was quite important for us is that the growth is so strong that we don't know how the tool is going to grow under 2 years,
Yeah.
and most of the money will come as an earnout, meaning that we get a small percentage of this money upfront when the acquisition is signed, and most of the money will come based on objectives, on goals,
Right.
on actually on growth goals. So it was okay for us, but something that was really important is that if we would go way above the goals, we wanted more money. Like if the goal was to go to 10 million in annual revenue, and we told Guillaume, but what if we go 20?
Right.
What if we go 25? And he was really awesome about accepting that the deal was uncapped, meaning that we can go to infinite numbers, and we would just get a piece of that.
That's crazy.
So
That's
it's like the next 2 years will not be easy for us. So like it adds a lot of pressure on us, because like we have very big goals, and the higher we go, the more money we'll make out of this acquisition.
right. Can you give some details on the acquisition? Is that something that you share? Like how much was it? And
So I shared a bunch of that on Twitter. It's
Right.
basically it's a eight figures deal, so it's above 10 million.
Okay.
I shared a lot. I will not share more here.
Right. You okay? Because when I was checking J.K. Molina when he was speaking about this, he said around 1.8 million, something like this.
He said like 1.4. That's
1.4. Yeah.
that's the upfront money that
Ah.
300 was sold for.
So
But most of the money is coming after that based on goals. And he shared only the 1.4 because that's the money that he gets shared on.
he doesn't get any more
No,
from
because
there.
like it was the buyer, L'Empire, wanted like a clean state for the product, and he they wanted us as product leaders to stay
Right.
on for 2 years. That there was no real point on keeping the influencer deal. So the influencer deal broke, and like GK Molina is not working with us anymore.
Okay. I
We
guess
still have
he's
very good
still very
relationships.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
So just for me to make sure I understood, you get this 1.4 million upfront, which you share between you, J.K. Molina, and Toma,
Yep.
right? And then after that, depend after 2 years, depending on how much your company is making, you will define the price or based on
Yeah,
that, like,
something
and
like
that's
that.
why you say it's eight figure
Yep,
because
exactly.
okay, got it. So I guess my question is, how does it feel to be an indie millionaire?
uh, it feels strange, but like it's we worked on this deal for like months, so we were kind of prepared to for that. So it's not really a surprise. It's like then you get the money on your account and you have no idea about what to do with this money. So like it feels a bit weird to say that, but it's like it just adds a bunch of new problems. And for now I'm not really enjoying having money because I just don't want to spend it because I don't want to have a crazy lifestyle. So I don't know what I'm
Okay.
gonna do.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. Um
It's funny because like I don't know if you heard about that, but I have just been selected for like Maker of the Year by Product
oh
Hunt.
yes, yes,
And the
congrats.
news arrived like Tuesday this week, and I was like much more happy about that, even if there was like no money involved. And I don't know why, but the fact that it was like totally unexpected and based on like
Yeah.
just an award, like I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb, but
I
felt so
mean,
good.
you definitely deserve it because I don't know many indie makers that are millionaires. Like we have Peter Levels, right? Um and then I don't know, at least the ones from my Twitter bubble. I don't know many that maybe some of them would be able to sell their companies for some million. Yeah. Because I don't actually. How do you sell a company, right? So imagine you have a company making 10k, sorry, 100k ARR. Is it like 10, 5x, 10x, 2x? What is the x?
I think it's really weird because like people tend like Twitter especially tend to make you think that there is very specific standards for setting the company. But
Right.
the thing is like with our talk with L'Empire and Guillaume, it seems like we can do pretty much whatever we want. So like we manage to sell for like 10 times our annual revenue, but at the
Hmm.
same time it was the risk was very low for the buyer because of the deal structure, because there is a high earnout and a very
Right.
low upfront money. It was a win-win for both of us.
Right. So it's not as simple as, okay, 10 times our ARR done. You
Yeah,
actually have a
exactly.
lot of constraints.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it makes total sense.
yeah.
When okay, I get it that you were preparing this deal for a long time. But at some point, you realize that you were able to fulfill the dream, like selling the company, making millions. Do you remember when you figured out that?
I think I think it was when like during the acquisition, our lawyers were were arguing about very small details of the deal. We agreed with pretty much everything with Guillaume, but our lawyer didn't agree between each other.
Okay.
And I think it was when our lawyers finally found an agreement with those little details that then, like, yes, I realized that it was going to happen, and there was like no more any obstacles in front of us. So yeah.
Describe that feeling for someone that has a $500 MRR. Like, can you? Because like for me, I cannot even compare. So, is it like, I don't know? It's like Christmas. Is it getting something amazing? Can you describe? How would you describe this feeling to someone?
Maybe maybe you will be disappointed, but like I didn't feel I didn't feel a lot, because like selling your company is also selling your baby.
Right.
So I'm still a little bit scared about what this baby will become and where it will go. It's like a piece of me that goes away. So you cannot feel 100% happy about it. You are also feeling that you are losing a piece of yourself. So
Right.
it's a lot of mixed feelings.
Uh-huh. Are you afraid that you will never have a Tweet Hunter like product? That this was a once in a lifetime kind of deal?
Yeah, so I talked with this very successful founder. I will not share who he is because like I just don't want to share.
Zuckerberg, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he told me that he had this very successful sale, and then he started building something new again, and something unexpected happened. It's like the product he sold were super successful, but when he started building something new, it was like, okay, how can I make something as good as what I did before? And
Right.
he started getting into this very depressing state where he started feeling that he would never build something as good as he did before. And during like
Interesting.
6 months to 1 year, he didn't really succeed in building something useful or relevant. And I'm super afraid of feeling the same. You
Okay.
see,
Uh,
it's I
I
think
mean,
like
it's something.
the thing is like before when you start, no one is expecting you. If you sold your company, the next thing that you will build and ship, people will be looking at you, or at least you will feel that way. You will feel like people are looking at you, and it's not a good
True.
feeling. Like you are, it's I think it's gonna block you to shipping crappy things, and you need to do it again. Do you know what I
Eh,
mean?
I totally, well, I understand. It's funny because the way you're talking, it makes me not want to sell my company for millions. But at the same time, you have the recipe. Don't you feel that you have the recipe? Because I mean, you failed a lot before, and probably you'll fail again, right? But you understand the recipe of what it takes to build an indie company. Don't you think that with this recipe, you, by just following it and like putting all the pressure apart, um, you will somehow achieve? And of course, it doesn't matter how much money you make, right? Because that's not how we should measure a company. We should measure a company about with the value it brings to the users, right? But if you have that recipe, can't you just like replicate it?
I have no idea I have a recipe. Like I this is the first time ever that I sell a product for more than for me like millions. So I think we will see in a few years if I have a recipe or not. But for now, I'm just a guy who applied one technique, and it was successful. And the thing is, like, Twitter is full of survival bias, like people who did something one way and it worked for them. So this one way should be the way to go.
Right.
What I did is not the only way, and there are like multiple ways to build successful startups.
Hmm.
So I will need a couple more tries to see if it's really a successful way.
Do you feel the the like a fraud still? Like, do you feel that like maybe this was a fluke, that you were lucky? Because
I
the
really
way you,
think, yeah.
because
So I
it's interesting that
really,
that you said that you were more happy with the fact that you got this award of me being the maker of the year, or that for me makes total sense. But somehow this proves that you are not a fraud. Is that where somehow connected, that you think, well, maybe this was just like, now I need to prove that I can replicate this?
I don't know. I don't what I don't know about it. Like I really feel we were lucky. Of course, we worked hard, and like the fact that we were constantly shipping new things is really based on hard work. And but the thing is, we worked on an idea that we were at the very beginning of a trend like personal branding, which exploded in the last 2 years. So we were
Right.
at the perfect spots and at the perfect moments. And we triggered this lack, like because of the early process that we adopted two
Yeah,
years ago,
exactly. Yeah.
shipping one project every week for like 4 months. We triggered it, like we made it, we optimized, we created a system that was optimized for us to work on the best projects. And but still we got a bit lucky, I think.
I think lucky is always important, right? We
Yeah.
always need a little bit of luck, but you also, as you said, it's something that you build. Luck is something that you can also build for, and you are ready for it once the lucky strikes. One thing for sure, there's one issue. Maybe you don't remember this already, but one of the biggest issues of being indie maker is like the lack of money, right? Like the stress of, oh no, I need to make money, I need to make ends meet. I feel that like once you put that stress aside, the whole process becomes much more pleasant. Don't you feel that?
Yeah, I agree very much. Honestly, like if you are working solo, just make like 1K or 2K MR, and then you can just be more relaxed and build
Yeah.
more for yourself, have fun, optimize for fun.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, if you do not have a crazy lifestyle, it's actually quite easy to build savings and then try to just quit your job and start being an indie maker. And it's
Right.
also something that you can do on the side, like build with a full-time job. It's not easy, but I think you can do
Yeah.
it.
I think it's definitely not easy. Like, I
What
think
I
you are
think is like,
definitely underestimating what you have achieved.
I think
Because
you can I think you can validate as a side project, and then once you have validated, you may need to go full-time.
right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think for sure it's not easy. There's a lot of things that you know already that maybe you don't even notice, but a lot of things that are just intuition for you that a lot of people, like, I think the one where you decide to kill a project early on, it's a perfect example of something that most people don't do. Most people will work in a project for 6, 7, a year without making any money, trying like their best to get some users, which is something that you would not do. um what is, so now you're doing this for 2 years, right? So that's the goal. You're going to continue doing this for 2 years. Is that an issue for you, because now you don't get to build something new?
I thought it was an issue when we were talking with very old companies that was not really aligned with us. Working with Lempire for now has been super nice. So for now it's not an issue, and I don't think it will be. We'll see. Like
Okay.
we are, they are super nice, and they understand that we are entrepreneurs and we need to be free. Like we value our freedom, and they respect that.
Right.
So for now it's a match.
Do you have freedom to start other projects as well?
Yeah, we don't have to ask. We can do
Okay.
it.
Great. Uh, so what is next? What is next for Tibo? Do you also want like to help the indie community? Because like I don't know if you realize that, but this is like a milestone for this community, right? Like because startup VC founded startups, we already know that they can sell for these millions, but they also get a lot of millions as in investment, right? But seeing these indie companies now being able to sell for millions is something that it's for me groundbreaking, right? Do you see yourself in a role where you can help this indie community to get bigger and improve? Do you put yourself that responsibility?
I have started. I would love to do that more. Like I have started by investing in one of the indie maker that I love. It's a Banu on Twitter
Oh yeah, I
building
know.
a Feather.
Yeah.
It's a blogging solution based on
Right.
Notion. And I would love to do it more. Like finding very interesting indie makers and invest in them. It's not easy because a lot of them don't need money, and I respect that. And on the other side, a lot of other people are really early stages, so it's hard to know if their product is suitable or not. So I would love to do it more. It's really not easy because like the VC model is, I think it's not, there's no it doesn't fit with indie makers.
Yeah.
So they
So
would
what model
need.
fits?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question. I have no
F-
idea.
for me, I think it's the JK Molina model. Like for me, it's
Maybe.
like
Yeah.
you have 50K followers plus a Twitter product. Invest on Ivory from for instance the community from Luca,
Yeah. So you
uh,
you're
and
basically saying that indie makers need distribution more than money, and I
yeah,
think that's true.
definitely that's the biggest issue. Like we don't want to give equity away for money, right? But we would give a portion of our MRR for distribution. Like of course, why not,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Um, cool. I think that that's definitely something that I'm excited to see what you'll be able to do with that. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing again your journey here in the WB podcast. It's incredible, really. I was checking, like, yeah, September we had a chat. You're making 2K or 3K, and now selling for millions. It's really incredible. It's really motivating. So thank you so much for being here again and to share your journey.
Well, thank you, Thiago, for having me. It's always a pleasure.